Hi, welcome to Charlotte's Steam Clinic, Part 2. In this episode, we're going to read an excerpt from my dad's book of steam. The subject we've chosen today is an introduction to steam boilers. There's been quite a few comments on the forum, and I thought that this would be a really good place to start. To successfully run a miniature steam engine, the steam supply must be taken into consideration. Operation of a steam engine requires a certain amount of steam relative to the bore and stroke of the piston in the engine's cylinders. As the engine runs, it's consuming the water in the boiler. As the water level drops, more water needs to be pumped into the boiler in order to have continuous running. Cold water pumped into a boiler causes a drop in temperature, which equals a proportional drop in steam pressure. It's therefore very important to match the type of boiler with your engine's steam consumption. If you use a small boiler with a large bore steam engine, it will of course run, just not very well. The thirstier the engine, the more steam you need to generate to make the engine deliver any usable power. The boiler's heat source is your primary target to get right if good engine performance is to be achieved. Please be very, very careful if you're considering buying a second-hand old steam boiler. If they're old ones from vintage pond launchers, where they were once fired with ferocious paraffin or petrol blow lamps, it's highly probable that they will have been seriously overheated in the past. Even worse, the copper could be thinned with age, overheating and corrosion. Steel boilers are to be avoided generally. They can suffer badly from corrosion if they've not been looked after properly. My dad had a steel test boiler, and that was excellent. It was in good nick and internally rust-free. It always had corrosion inhibitor inside. When he used it, he always used the blowdown valve after every use to clear all the water from within. He comes across some boilers that are very, very dangerous indeed, so please take extra care when looking at purchasing and testing. Remember, always test the boiler with a hydraulic pump to at least twice the anticipated working pressure before use. You can go a little bit higher than that with steel boilers. Any faults will show up with a click and subsequent sudden loss of pressure. The worst thing you may get with this is a bit of a cold shower, but it's a lot better to use water because water is not compressible. If you use steam or compressed air, you can really run the risk of serious injury and possible death. If you don't feel like you want to carry this out by yourself, then why not contact your local model boat or model locomotive club in order to have this test carried out properly. Anyone who plays about with steam boilers should really make up a simple hydraulic test rig with an accurate large pressure gauge. They're very simple to make and they're very simple to use. They consist of a quality pressure gauge capable of reading up to 400 pounds per square inch in a pipe circuit with a hand force pump to provide the pressure of water. If we take a little look at steam boiler certification, in the United Kingdom and presumably elsewhere, in order to operate a model steam boiler in a public place, a boiler test certificate is required. Your local model boat or miniature steam locomotive club will have an appointed boiler tester who will be able to advise, test and issue a valid test certificate for your boiler. Please note that the boiler test rules state if your boiler has never had a test certificate before, you must be prepared to remove all cladding to show the condition of the boiler material underneath the cladding to the boiler inspector. This is a point really worth considering, especially if contemplating the purchase of a miniature steam locomotive, which is a glass type or exhibition standard model. You would have to literally almost completely dismantle it in order to remove the boiler to see the inner copper boiler construction. And you would definitely need a full repaint on that model afterwards. It's recommended that a full set of blanking plugs be obtained in order to plug all the holes in your boiler for the hydraulic test. Hydraulic test pressures can be 1.5 to 3 times the working steam pressure of the boiler depending upon the material in which the boiler was constructed. As far as we're aware, and at the time of recording this video, in the United Kingdom, stainless steel boilers cannot currently be issued with a boiler test certificate. This is owing to health and safety legislation, so if in that case, maybe don't buy one. That's it for this episode. Stay tuned for more videos. We've got loads of topics to go through, and I'll be reading a lot more from my dad's book of steam. If you'd like to join our forum, you can do so by visiting our website at www.steamclinic.com. I hope to see you there. Thank you for watching, and I hope you found this useful.